Welcome back, my most ambitious and dedicated learners. It is a pleasure to see your curious faces again. Today's lesson is a curious story about the mental risks of trusting information to a computer, or rather the pre-programmed software of your own mind, rather than trusting your true potential. We are going to talk about the internal algorithm that dictates your life, the logic of self-worth. The curious case of Oliver and the broken toaster logic. Meet Oliver. Oliver was a brilliant graphic designer, but he lived his life like a man wearing shoes 2 sizes too small. He worked for a boss who forgot his name, lived in an apartment where the heater sounded like a dying dragon, and dated people who only called him when they needed a ride to the airport. Oliver didn't believe in magic or manifesting. He believed in being realistic. He would say, "I'm just an average guy. I don't deserve the corner office or a partner who actually likes my cooking. That's for people in movies." What Oliver didn't realize was that he was running a very specific program in his head. In psychology, we call this a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's not mysticism, it's a strict, cold, logical loop. Because Oliver believed he was a broken toaster, he only applied for jobs that treated him like scrap metal. When a great company actually called him for an interview, his brain would panic. "This isn't for you," his internal computer would whisper. He would arrive late, stumble over his words, and, surprise, he wouldn't get the job. Oliver would then sigh and say, "See? I knew I wasn't good enough." The science of the Pygmalion effect. To understand why Oliver was stuck, we have to look at a famous experiment from 1968 by Robert Rosenthal and Lenore Jacobson. They went to an elementary school and told the teachers that a specific group of students were academic bloomers, meaning they were about to show a massive burst of intelligence. The secret? The students were chosen completely at random. There was nothing special about them. However, a year later, those random students actually did show significantly higher IQ scores. Why? Because the teachers believed the students were capable of more, so they treated them differently. They gave them more challenging work and better feedback. Now, imagine you are both the teacher and the student in your own life. If your internal teacher believes you are only worth $10 an hour and a cold cup of coffee, that is exactly the environment you will create for yourself. You will subconsciously accept bad treatment because it matches the data in your internal computer. The reticular activating system, your brain's Google search. Your brain has a filter called the reticular activating system, or RAS. Think of it as a personalized Google search. If you tell your RAS, "I am not worthy of a good job," your brain will literally ignore opportunities for a good job. It will only show results for bad jobs because those results confirm your internal belief. In one psychological simulation, researchers found that people with low self-esteem actually felt uncomfortable when they were given a compliment. It created cognitive dissonance. Their brain's software said, "I am bad." The external information said, "You are good." To resolve the conflict, the brain rejected the compliment. This is the logic of a low standard. You don't get what you want, you get what you tolerate. The self-love first paradox. Many people tell themselves, I will love myself once I lose weight, or I will respect myself once I get a promotion. But that is like telling a car, I will give you gasoline once you drive me to the next city. It doesn't work that way. You need the fuel to make the journey. Oliver finally learned this during a very awkward date. His date spent the whole night talking about her ex-boyfriend and then asked Oliver to pay for her very expensive lobster. Oliver's internal computer said, "Pay it. You don't deserve better." But for the first time, Oliver paused. He thought about the Rosenthal study. He thought, what if I treat myself like an academic bloomer for just 5 minutes? He looked at his date and said, "Actually, I think we should split the bill, and I'm going to go home now. I'm looking for a connection, not a transaction." He walked out. He felt terrified. But then he felt something else: power. By changing his standard, he changed his reality. 2 weeks later, he applied for a senior design role. He didn't do it because he felt perfect. He did it because he decided that he was no longer dirt. The lesson for you. My dear students, the same logic applies to your English journey. If you believe you are bad at languages, your brain will stop trying to remember new words. It will say, why bother? We aren't going to succeed anyway. But if you treat yourself with the respect of a scholar, if you decide you are worthy of being understood, your brain's RAS will start finding the words you need. You do not change your life to love yourself. You love yourself, and then your life has no choice but to change to match your new standards. It is not magic. It is the most advanced coding in the world. I truly hope you enjoyed the theme of today's lesson. It is a reminder that you are the programmer of your own mind, and you deserve the best software available. I encourage you to listen to this story or read it again. Remember, repetition is the secret ingredient to successful learning and the best way to reprogram your brain. Stay ambitious, keep your standards high, and I look forward to seeing your progress in our next session. Until next time.